Okay, so this is another one of those weeks where reality should be setting in as to what is really coming to this world. I mean, there is no shortage of news that does not allude to the reality that we all must face. That reality being that the world is about to change. Yes, the Federal Reserve raised rates again. But for me, it's not the raising of rates that was telling me something, but it was more so about the amount that they raised. Because I know the real problem will come when they reverse the trend of raising rates and start to lower after the real problems come to step in. We have the war in Ukraine escalating, with the United States and Europe getting more involved in the war, prompting words from Russia saying that trouble is truly on the way. The escalation of conflict between China and the United States is still growing, with China seeming more than ready to invade Taiwan. Then we have all these other random news events that seek to push civil discourse here in the United States, as well as other events in other countries that are all about civil war. But even with those things, the morality issue in this world is even more alarming. Like, where do people believe that this world is going to when you look at our values? Everything is upside down. Traditional marriage is now less trendy than all these other types of relationships. Our young men, and our older ones for that matter, do not know what it means to be a man, and they live in a mindset of irresponsibility and immaturity. While our young women and older women, they think that they are men, and that there are no differences between men and women. Our children at the youngest ages are committing murders, fighting their teachers, and they actually believe that their way of immorality is just normal.
Students are out of control.
And even if themselves don't practice a lot of those things, their tolerance for it is at the highest levels we have ever seen. There are more people that tolerate wickedness than ever before. Where do people actually see things heading in this world? I mean, I don't know. But if you imagine the next generation that is born from our youngest generation, that is literally scary. And so for those whose hope and trust is in Yahuah, we know that judgment is on the way. Change is on the way. And so for those awake, we are planning for it. And I recognize that with all this happening in this world, people that are awakening may be overwhelmed and be asking themselves, what do I do to prepare for what is coming? How do I prepare for the Great Tribulation and the New World Order? These kind of things are actually kind of scaring me now. There may be many feelings that people have. I have many things that Yah is leading me to discuss before this world changes. But before those other topics are brought forth, I wanted to make sure that I made this video to help many that are aware that hard times are upon us, but they don't know what to do or how to prepare for them. It seems that I make these videos every other year or so, but I have matured in faith over the years, and the peace that Yah has provided me with, and the understanding that He has provided, I desire to pass it on. So I want to talk to all that want to know how to prepare for what is coming in this world. I pray this message brings peace to all that seek it. Let's begin. Okay, so I'm going to deal with the most important part first, and then, as long as I didn't speak on it for too long, I will try to handle the more smaller issues. Now, it may surprise you that the smaller issues are what many probably want to think as the biggest issues, but they are not. Now, I will be clear. I believe in insurance. Not really health insurance, but life insurance, car insurance. I believe in insurance. I have those things to help me with the unexpected. Like I have life insurance to financially protect my family if I'm not here, and they can continue to live life without their life fully changing. If I get in a car accident, knowing that the unintended consequences will be paid for and not bankrupt me, that's comforting. That's why I have insurance. Insurance is held to cover a certain peace of mind for situations that are unexpected. So with all that said, you're probably like, what? With all that said, my food, water, crypto, to me, those are all separate insurance policies that provide me with a level of peace of mind for situations that are unexpected, that are all within my possibilities of thought and expectations. And so that's why I label them as smaller issues, because that's how I treat them. These supplies are not my source, and they are not my solution for what is coming. It's just insurance, and that's how I look at it. I have food and water for the times where I can't get any from the grocery store, but I need to feed my family. I have crypto for when that fiat currency system fails and I want a better conversion for their false system in the early period. I have solar generators for if and when the power goes out, etc. I have different things to cover me for the unexpected. These are my insurance policies. And while they do provide me with a certain amount of peace of mind, like life insurance does, it is not my source. Because, like with life insurance, though my family would be financially protected, there's not an insurance policy for my actual physical absence. And that is why this next topic is the most important part of preparation, and it's the major issue that we need to deal with. If you do a YouTube search and say economic collapse or financial collapse, you'll see many different videos titled, "You're about to lose everything, prepare," or "Get ready to fight for your freedom." You'll see people getting armed and ready for a fight. In the overall truth community, there seems to be one major thought that people hold. People are preparing for battle that they themselves think that they are going to fight and win. And for the most part, if you search out content about what to do to prepare, you're going to find content that is putting this fight and battle in your hands. And it's basically all about what you do with yourself and your preparations that will be your saving grace. But let me tell you that most of these people will end up in the same predicament as those that were not prepared. It's just that these people may hold out a little longer. So I'm going to provide you with a perspective that is not the mainstream thought in the truth community. It's also not in the mainstream in the religious community as well. Well, maybe it is, but it's taught in the religious community in a whole other way of just ignorance and being blind to everything coming to you. This message, it may be hard for many to hear because they lack the main thing that is needed to get through all of this. Now, you may know where I'm going with all this and understand that that word is faith, but it goes a lot deeper than what you may think. So I'm going to make sure that I make this clear, and hopefully those that Yah is calling to be ready for him, you receive this and it helps you because it's very important. The most important thing you need to have in order to be ready for the New World Order and Great Tribulation is to have your faith and trust securely built up in Yahuah. So let me get this clear. The reason why it's so hard for people to understand why our faith is the most important thing to hold on to is because they don't understand what it is that is happening in this world. And they look at all these events that are happening as being purely secular. In America, there are like two groups preparing. It's those American patriots that want to defend America and American values. I mean, whatever that is. Those that believe in God, guns, and country. It's like the MAGAs. And then there are those end-time Christians that know about the mark of the beast, the Antichrist, the one world government. Those that watch those pure flick movies like Left Behind and The Rapture and are preparing for those events like they saw in the movies or read in those books. And you will see that sometimes these two groups do cross together. But with all of that said, these people are missing the biggest points, and they are letting the enemy dictate how they are to deal with this world, and they're not truly living in their faith. In this regard, I'm referencing the end-time Christians. Now, those patriots that think they're fighting for this country, they will be finished, or they will just cause us more problems, and will be added to our list of enemies when the time actually comes. The reason why is simple. Judgment is on this land. If you are living a life that is about protecting it and its values, you are just as lost as those that think everything is fine and there's nothing to plan for. But I don't want to get off track. It is very important for us to live in reality because this is what will separate us from everyone else. Though the wicked people of this world are planning a one world government, one world currency, and desire a one world religion, though they are planning a system of control that we have never seen before, though we know some system is coming that will tie the masses into it by digital controls, and they are doing this all so that they can make Satan feel like the Most High for a very short window, if you are focused on all of this, you need to change your way of thinking. The only reason why this is allowed to happen is because our Father in heaven, Yahuah, is preparing for his world order, his kingdom. And before his kingdom comes, there will be conflict. I'm not going to downplay it and act like it's not significant conflict, but you must understand that the problem is not for those that are his. The problem is for those that are not his. And if you do not get that in your mind at this point, you are going to have a very hard time in the future because you are proving that you are not his. He said to the assembly of Philadelphia, "Because you have kept my command to persevere, I also will keep you from the hour of trial which shall come upon the whole world to test those who dwell on the earth. Behold, I am coming quickly. Hold fast what you have, that no one may take your crown." That's Revelation chapter 3, verses 10 and 11. Now, do you understand what that means? It means that those who keep his commands to continue on living through him, the tests and trials that are coming to this world will not be about dealing with you. You are not being prepared to be tested. You are being prepared right now to be preserved. And if you don't get that, you really need to get that. This is why these videos are being made. When I explain that it's very important for us to live in reality, it's because if we live in his truths and we live in his will and focus on him, we will all see that none of what is coming has anything to do with us. We will see that this world is being geared up for judgment so that the promises of Abraham are able to be received. So in order for the finality of all that, the world needs to go through fire. There are those that are not awakened yet, and this is specifically about the children of Yasharel. The end times is all about his children. He has plans to bring Yasharel and Yahuah back to the land that he has promised Abraham. Those that are his that are not yet awakened will be dealt with specifically and called home. This is what the end times will all be about. The other side of the end times Bible prophecy is all about Satan creating an army to go against Yahusha in the last day. But you do not need to focus on that. For those that are already awake, our responsibility is to live through him right now and prepare ourselves for him right now. If you watch my videos, you should know that my outlook for the world in this future is very bleak. If people talk about their future plans with me, I'm not one that is a good person to talk to about these things. When I hear people making plans for 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years out, I really just can't get with them. I try not to fully discourage them because I don't want to be looked at as a dream killer and they try to blame me for all the bad in their life. But for the most part, the people with these plans are not living in reality. When I ask them about the world, they don't have a clue about many of the major things forming around them. They are trapped in their little box and focused on pushing this future that they feel they're going to create for themselves, regardless of what is happening in the world. And I imagine when they hear about how I look at the world, they probably look at me as very negative. I imagine that many people that like to challenge these messages, they might look at me as negative, possibly sitting in a room with a tinfoil hat, scared of living my life and living in pure fear. But those people could not be any more wrong. And it confuses me often with the people I actually know personally that try to think of me like this, because they see me. And though my words speak of a different reality, and though I do have a lack of tolerance to wickedness, I am not one that is living in weakness or fear at all. Every day I have is a great one. And these years since the pandemic have literally been the best years of my life. It's not about anything other than because I have chosen to live in victory and understanding of the beautiful future that awaits me, whether I am alive to watch it be fulfilled in real time or if I physically leave this place. I know I am coming back into it in glory. And so what can the devil do to me? I walk in power because I have it. Yahusha the Messiah has given us power. We just need to walk in it. This is true for all of us who have received the Messiah. We must walk in conviction and power. When you know your enemy, you don't have to run from him. You just fight against him if he tries to attack you. And listen, the more you fight against him, the more you resist him, the more he knows, let me get out of here and work on someone else. The scripture says, therefore submit to Elohim, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. That's James chapter 4, verse 7. So you all need to be one who is resisting the devil and make him flee from you. But listen, when you're doing this and resisting the devil, it's important that you keep your guard up and look out for him through your family, friends, co-workers, etc. Because trust me, if the devil cannot get to you, he will try to get to you through your family, friends, co-workers, finances, something. He will try to come at you in areas or through people that you least expect. So in these last days, don't play around with the company that you keep and give the enemy a clear open doorway through them. Anyone that is not with the same faith and purpose as you needs to be put on the side until you properly know how to deal with them. Because while they may be important to you, your soul and your family's well-being must be your priority. And the only way that is taken care of is not playing around with the enemy. And if you have friends that are playing around with the enemy or family that's playing around with the enemy, they are a liability to you if you allow them to be. Live in the reality about your family, your friends, your situations. Don't just give people open passes and say, well, maybe it's not that big of a deal. The devil loves people that think like this because he attacks you. So what is the most important thing to do to be prepared? It is walking in a surety of your faith, being led by Yahuah, being in a personal relationship with him, not being attached to this world, and being ready to move when he calls. Let me tell you that the problem that will come for most people in the faith is because you have one foot in and one foot out. You may desire Yah's kingdom, but you're also so entrenched in this world. You are double-minded, and it's highly possible that when the world starts to change, fear will speak with you more than your faith does, because you're one foot in and one foot out. You got to make a decision and choose him fully. You have to be fully trusting in Yah and let go of your attachment to this world. And that's why living in reality is so important. Let me tell you and assure you that the only way through these times that are coming will be through the power of Yahusha. You must let him guide you, strengthen you, and fight your battles. If you're worried about what you may lose, like your possessions or your home or these other things, it actually puts you in a position to lose the good that is coming to you. And so it's important that you detach from all your ways and mindsets that has you trying to hold on to this world. Let go of it. Don't worry about what you're losing here. Get yourself prepared for Yah. People often ask me about their money or their home, and the answer I have is not a good one that everyone wants to hear. I mean, it's a high probability that you may lose everything. I don't know a way of getting around that. I mean, what they're trying to do is about taking everything for you. It's a great reset. But you have to understand, these things are not your source. And if you're working hard to make sure you don't lose these things, you are depending on different power than what Yah provides. Those that will be counted amongst his faithful must be ready to move when he says move. You must be able to trust him when you don't know what is around the corner. You must be able to let go of possessions that don't mean too much. When thinking about how you're going to deal with these end times, it's important to have a biblical view. And Yah does provide examples for us so that we understand how we should be and how we should be led. The story of Lot is a very important one, and it should all register with you, and it should be a foundation of your understanding of how to be prepared for these last days. Lot was the only righteous man in a land full of sin and debauchery. The funny thing is that I imagine that the United States is worse than Sodom and Gomorrah, but there's no way to tell. The people of Sodom and Gomorrah were so wicked that there was an outcry that was against them that had grown great before the face of Yahuah, and Yahuah had sent angels to destroy it. But Lot was found righteous to Yah, and so he was granted the privilege of being able to escape. So when the angels came to Lot, Lot tried to get his family together in order to leave. He first went to his sons-in-laws. But what did these men married to his daughters do? Yeah, they laughed at him, as if he was joking. They were so tied up in the wickedness of that land that they could not see that judgment was upon them. How many people do you know personally that are like that? I personally know too many to count. They see that the wickedness is going on here, they see all of this, but they just don't recognize that judgment is upon this place. But anyway, Lot did not stay there and just try to convince them. No, he knew that he should trust Yahuah and do what Yahuah was guiding him to do. The first thing that needs to be clear to you is that though you're walking in the path of righteousness, that does not mean that everyone you know will come on the journey with you. I know that's sad and hard to hear. Many of us have mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, sons, daughters, just a lot of family and friends that we care about, and we want to hope that they're coming with us, but many will not, and we just have to pray for them. But you cannot risk your soul and your eternity for the people in rebellion. You have to be willing to let go and follow Yah, or else you will go down with them. And I know that's a very hard message to hear, but if they're destined to be judged with the wicked, that is their decision. It's not yours. The only thing you can do is try to minister to them and pray for them while there's still time for them. But live in reality about what is in their hearts, so that when the time comes, you are not led into a trap by them. I hope that makes sense, because I know someone needs to hear that. Back to Lot though. Long story short, he was a righteous man and believed in the Most High. And when he was told to get out of there, he moved. He was sensitive to the moving of Yahuah and placed his trust in him, and left the land he knew to escape Yah's wrath that was not about him, but about those that lived for the wickedness of the evil one, those that were not aligned with Yah's holy will. If you do not remember anything, you should always remember that if you keep him as your focus and align your life to his will, he will protect you. His wrath is not about or for his children, and no matter what, he has a plan to cover them. Our jobs at this moment is to be counted worthy and faithful, and this is the most important thing to do during these end times. It's not about your guns or your food, it's about your faith. And so many people today are missing that important point. Now, the example of Lot's wife is important too, so let's continue discussing him and his family. So Yahuah rained brimstone and fire on Sodom and Gomorrah and overthrew the cities. He rained fire on all the inhabitants of the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. But Lot, his wife, and his daughters were able to flee with him. They were the only ones who were able to escape the wickedness. Now, for this part of the story, it's important for you to place yourself in their shoes so you can see it from their perspective. They've obviously lived amongst the wickedness for years, but Lot made sure that he kept his heart pure. His daughters also obviously did not align themselves in the ways of Sodom and Gomorrah. And you know this because they were ready to flee when he was ready to flee. You will find that those that are not ready for Yah, they were not ready because they're caught up in the strong delusion because they chose wickedness. So with his daughters, though they were living in Sodom and Gomorrah, they did not attach their heart to its wickedness. And this is so important to understand because while many of us are wondering what is going to happen during these times, we could be so caught up in this land. We're trying to figure out how we're going to preserve ourselves in this land. But if you are a believer, the main thing you need to know right now, and I'm going to say this boldly, wherever you are right now is not your home. I don't care if you are mortgage free or live there 50 years or more. That is not your home. You are being prepared to go into Yah's kingdom, his millennial kingdom. Read the book of Revelation again. We're not preparing to go to heaven. We are preparing to go into his kingdom that he is preparing for us. So this understanding is what you must be attached to. Attach yourself to being in his kingdom, because when it is time to move, if your mindset is right, it will make leaving much easier. But if your mindset and reality is tied to where you currently are, you are not going to be ready for where he is trying to lead you. You have to let it go. When Lot and his family were told by the angels to leave, the angels told them, "Escape for your life. Do not look behind you." But as they were escaping, Lot's wife turned back. She was attached to the land and turned back to see what was happening, instead of moving forward to where Yah was taking her. She could not let it go, and because of it, she shared in his judgment. She was turned into a pillar of salt. And this needs to be in everyone's minds. This is how you prepare for the end times. You need to make sure that your heart is attached to Yah and his will, and not attached to all these other things in this world. You need to be ready to let it go. Lot's wife should have kept her heart pure and focused on who saved her and let the land that she lived in go. But her love of the world and her idolatry kept her fully out of Yah's will. And you will see that a lot of the control that will happen to this world will be because the people are so attached to the world and their way of life that they'll do anything to try to keep it and get back to it. But if you're focused on Yah, you will just focus on doing what he is leading you to do and not be attached to the way the world is directing everyone else. That will be the key between the wheat and the tares, between the sheep and the goat. You need to understand that the times that are coming are about preparing for Yah's kingdom. And throughout this story, as it will progress, it will all be about a show of his power and his glory. He says that all will know that he is Yahuah. This story will all be about the showing of the power of Yahuah. The power will not be in your hands. So if you're wondering what it is that you must do to be ready for what's coming, you need to let go of that and be ready for Yahuah. But with all that said, and being ready for this new world order, there are some simple mindsets to hold. First, don't focus on your money. Again, you will probably lose it all. This is why Yahusha warned us and told us, do not lay up for ourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for ourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. That's Matthew chapter 6, verses 19 through 21. I mean, that's so important to understand, because those that don't understand this will have their money stolen from them.
I'm missing $1,400 from my account, and they're telling me that there's no way they can help us. You missing money too? There you go.
They are resetting the system, locking people in their social classes. Unless you are in billionaire status before the reset, your money means nothing. Don't focus on it. If you already know that you're going to lose it, when it happens, it will be easier to deal with. I just want you to think about how this year started with that event with Bank of America. Think about those people that looked at their Bank of America accounts and saw their money gone. They did not know what to do.
Imagine waking up to find money missing from your Bank of America account. You'd be enraged, and rightfully so. Well, that's exactly what happened to Bank of America customers. They began reporting issues with payments processed through the money transfer service Zelle yesterday morning after noticing large amounts of money disappearing from their accounts. And get this, at no fault of their own.
I woke up this morning to an alert on my phone that my balance had dropped below the threshold. And I, thought to myself, well, I didn't have a wild weekend. Let me see what's going on. It literally said zero balance.
And it had nothing to do with that wild weekend, might I add. Well, outrage and outright disbelief for those impacted customers. It took all day for the money to be returned. Bank of America says the problem has since been resolved and the funds restored.
If your heart is not attached to it, you will not be led like everyone else. And that's important. Get it through your mind now. Again, live in reality. Be ready for the problems. Expect them. And when you start seeing them come, be prepared to stay inside your home and let those that are not ready, that are driven by all this, to take part in the madness and the chaos. When all this starts, all believers will surely be inside. When this collapse happens, you will see chaos. And the most important thing for you to do in the beginning is to not be a part of it. And that's why the food insurance and supplies, they're helpful. If you're in the United States, listen, prepare for a life without power. They have continuously alluded to the fact that they're expecting cyber attacks and attacks to our power grid. Be prepared to deal with the loss of power. Know what your life will be like if you did not have power. Have a plan for what that would mean for you and what you will do to get through it. You want a plan and be ready mentally for the challenge. Expecting it and being ready for it will make the challenge easier to deal with rather than being completely caught off guard with no plan. As far as with your kids, please, when you are raising your kids, please understand as a believer, you are not raising them for this world. So you don't have to worry about them and worry about preserving them for this world and what you're going to do for them in this world. You are raising them for Yah's kingdom. So the way that you live and how you are, while it may seem different than everyone else right now, when our promises come, our children will be ready for it. I am raising my sons to be men of Yah's coming kingdom, not to be men of this God-forsaken world. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't live in this world and have to navigate through it, but there is a difference with our goals and our way of life when you know you are raising them for Yah's kingdom and not the satanic one. Preserve your children for Yahuah. Preserve your sons and your daughters, please. Now, I've said this once, but I'm going to say it again. Be ready to leave. Be ready to move. If you understand end times prophecy, there will be a gathering of Yasharel back to the land Yah promised. And if your heart and mind is focused on his promises, when the time comes, you will know it will be time to leave. On the contrary, if you're attached to this world and what's happening or what you might be losing, and you're trying to figure out how to preserve yourself here, you're going to miss him. Your level of faith will be what brings the difference between you and the rest of the world. You have to understand that Yah has been preparing you and drawing you closer to him for a reason. He has told us that because we are not in the darkness, his day will not overtake us and come upon us like a thief in the night. This means that because we are his, we will be ready for his day and ready for what he is doing to prepare us. The end times is not doom and gloom, but it is full of excitement and promise. It's all about your perspective. It's a time that draws us closer to living a life in the way it should be. And in order for this to happen, the world will have to go through test and judgment. This should not frighten you if you are his. You have to trust him and make your life about his will and being ready for his kingdom. It is a mindset shift that you must go through. Reading your Bibles has to be one of the most important things you do daily. You will find comfort in his word. So I suggest you read it continuously and always go to it for wisdom, for inspiration, for conviction, strength, assurance, etc. Make sure you are making your life about Yah and his righteousness. Make sure that you're committed to his kingdom and you're not living with one foot in and one foot out. These are the most important things all of us must do right now to be ready for the end times. It will not be about your physical strength or your physical supplies that is the difference between who is ready for Yah and who is not. If you're struggling right now to make ends meet and you're like, things are getting worse, not better, please change your way of thinking and live in praise of Yah and trust Him. It will be bad for those that do not know how to live for Him and trust in Him. I assure you of this. But that does not mean that that needs to be you. It will be bad for many people that you know, I'm sorry to say. But if you're placing your faith in Him, He will give you what you need to make it through. As we approach these days, I'm watching with anticipation to see how He gathers Yasharel from all the nations that He has scattered them. And this is again why living in reality is so important, because there are people that believe that this has already happened, and there will be many Christians that will fight against it when Yah is actually fulfilling this prophecy, because it will probably be labeled around racial tensions. There are many that are so dependent upon the governments that they will be looking for the government to solve their problems and their issues, and this cannot be you. Only look forward and have your heart open and ready to follow Yahuah as He leads, so you can be used to show His power through you. Your faith is the major issue that is the most important for the end times. You'll see many people telling you it will be cryptocurrencies that save you, it will be your food supplies that will save you, or your guns, stuff like that. But none of that has to do with Yahuah. It's important to know the difference between your source and resources. Yahuah is our source. Those other things like food, water, crypto, they're all resources. Yeah, it's prudent to see danger around the corner and prepare for it. So yes, if you're able to, get some supplies that can get you through the rough times. Have some extras. Make a plan for what you will do when things start changing. I have a list of supplies that I always keep in the description box of every video. These are some of the things I've done and own that give me that food and supply insurance. You can use this list for some guidance. This list may help you if you don't know where to start. But please, like I said, understand the difference between your source and resources. Yes, have food and water stocked for emergencies. But again, that is not your lifeline. They are just resources. Don't put all your trust in them. You need to depend on the source, because with all those resources, you could easily lose all of them that you're storing up. I mean, your house could get flooded, or chaos in your area moves you out of your home, or someone steals everything you have. Then you will see that those supplies meant nothing. But if you are led by His Spirit and have learned to trust in and depend on Him, He will give you the strength and the guidance to get you through and allow His will to be done. This is Bible prophecy. He is about to show His glory, and you can be a part of it if you trust Him. Live by faith. In due time, you will see the difference between you living in reality and those living in ignorance is the huge divide. If you live in reality of the real world, you won't be moved or provoked by your flesh when the chaos starts. Remember, who shall separate us from the love of Messiah? Shall pressure or distress or persecution or scarcity of food or nakedness or danger or sword? As it has been written, for your sake we are killed all day long. We are reckoned as sheep of slaughter. But in all this we are more than overcomers through Him who loved us. For I am persuaded that neither death nor life, nor messengers, nor principalities, nor powers, neither the present nor the future, nor height nor depth, nor any creature shall be able to separate us from the love of Elohim, which is in Messiah Yahusha, our Master. That's powerful. Romans chapter 8, verses 35 through 39. Know with assurance that nothing that this world will try to throw at us can separate us from the love of our Master and Savior, Yahusha the Messiah. Please commit your life to Him. Do not live in fear or worry or doubt, but live in praise and anticipation for His day, because this is what our faith is all about. It is ridiculous and hypocritical for you to say that you are a believer in Him, but your life is not all about being ready for His day, being ready for His kingdom. I know there's a lot going on right now, a lot of deception and distractions, but when the trouble comes, those of us truly in Messiah will be ready for it. And I wanted to take this time this week to encourage you to press on in your faith and continue to commit your life to Yah's kingdom. This is what our faith is all about, and if you are His, He will bring you through the storms and you will be victorious. Make sure you are not like Lot's wife and stay attached to this world. Keep moving forward and keep moving toward Yahuah. Stay watchful and be ready, because no matter what happens, if you are his, you will be ready. I will leave you with this word from David in Psalm chapter 37. Do not fret because of evildoers, nor be envious of the workers of iniquity, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass, and wither as the green herb. Trust in Yahuah and do good. Dwell in the land and feed on his faithfulness. Delight yourself also in Yahuah, and he shall give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to Yahuah. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. He shall bring forth your righteousness as the light, and your justice as the noonday. Rest in Yahuah, and wait patiently for him. Do not fret because of him who prospers in his way, because of the man who brings wicked schemes to pass. Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Do not fret, it only causes harm. For evildoers shall be cut off, but those who wait on Yahuah, they shall inherit the earth. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall be no more. Indeed, you will look carefully for his place, but it shall be no more. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. The wicked plots against the just, and gnashes at him with his teeth. Yahuah laughs at him, for he sees that his day is coming. The wicked have drawn the sword and have bent their bow, to cast down the poor and needy, to slay those who are of upright conduct. Their sword shall enter their own heart, and their bows shall be broken. A little that a righteous man has is better than the riches of many wicked. For the arms of the wicked shall be broken, but Yahuah upholds the righteous. Yahuah knows the day of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. They shall not be ashamed in the evil time, and in the days of famine they shall be satisfied. But the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of Yahuah, like the splendor of the meadows, shall vanish. Into smoke they shall vanish away. The wicked borrows and does not repay, but the righteous shows mercy and gives. For those blessed by him shall inherit the earth, but those cursed by him shall be cut off. The steps of a good man are ordered by Yahuah, and he delights in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for Yahuah upholds him with his hand. I have been young, and now am old, yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his descendants begging bread. He is ever merciful and lends, and his descendants are blessed. Depart from evil, and do good, and dwell forevermore. For Yahuah loves justice, and does not forsake his saints. They are preserved forever, but the descendants of the wicked shall be cut off. The righteous shall inherit the land, and dwell in it forever. The mouth of the righteous speaks wisdom, and his tongue talks of justice. The law of his God is in his heart. None of his steps shall slide. The wicked watches the righteous, and seeks to slay him. Yahuah will not leave him in his hand, nor condemn him when he is judged. Wait on Yahuah and keep his way, and he shall exalt you to inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, you shall see it. I have seen the wicked in great power, and spreading himself like a native green tree. Yet he passed away, and behold, he was no more. Indeed, I sought him, but he could not be found. Mark the blameless man, and observe the upright, for the future of that man is peace. But the transgressors, they shall be destroyed together. The future of the wicked shall be cut off, but the salvation of the righteous is from Yahuah. He is their strength in the time of trouble, and Yahuah shall help them and deliver them. He shall deliver them from the wicked and save them, because they trust in him. Hallelujah. That is Psalm chapter 37. I believe Yah led me to this psalm to comfort you who needs it. This video has been made to encourage you to press on in your faith and trust in Yahuah. This psalm tells you what to do. It says, trust in Yahuah. Delight yourself in Yahuah. Commit your way to Yahuah. Rest in Yahuah. Wait on Yahuah. Be assured that Yahuah upholds the righteous. Yahuah knows the day of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. They shall not be ashamed in the evil time. And get this, In the days of famine, they shall be satisfied. Salvation of the righteous is from Yahuah. He is their strength in the time of trouble. And Yahuah shall help them and deliver them. He shall deliver them from the wicked and save them because they trust in him. And so if you love him and believe in him, do these things. And this is how you will be ready and prepared for the end times. That's really what it is. I encourage you to come back and review this message anytime the enemy is trying to place fear in you or make you walk in your flesh or make you have no hope. Yah has assured us of what awaits those who trust in him. So if anyone wants to know what is the most important thing to do to be ready for the Great Tribulation and the New World Order, make sure you tell them that it's to trust in Yah, to delight yourself in him, to commit your way to him, to rest in him and then wait on him, and he will preserve you for the promises that he has for you. Be ready for him and be blessed. Hallelujah. Praise Yah. Okay. Thanks again for watching. If this has blessed you, please don't forget to like this and share this video with others. I really hope this encourages you to press on during these last days. If you have not done so already, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Yah willing, I upload every Friday. Also, don't forget to follow this ministry on Facebook and Instagram, as well as on my website, truthunedited.com. If there is ever a time that you do not see this channel on YouTube, please make sure you look for me on my website. As always, I really would like to thank all those who really support this ministry. You know who you are. Your contributions have been an extreme blessing to this ministry, and I'm very thankful for you and your support. Thank you for being a blessing to this ministry and following the call Yah has placed on your heart. Okay, thanks again everyone for watching. I love you all.